What's going on, gamers? Now we have the truth from Wall Street about Game Pass numbers and what the real results were. Remember what AGN was telling you guys for the longest, that they were hiding numbers from you, and when you hide something, that means that you're failing and something is off. And there's a reason why you start hiding things, because you don't want people to see the truth. Well, guess what? Xbox Game Pass failed. I've said this multiple times. I remember Xbox fanboys were arguing with me that Game Pass is profitable, it's making so much money. And I'm like, you just don't know how to do math. You don't understand how the industry works. How could this service be profitable? Does it make any sense if you understand the way things work? So here we are. Become a member, leave a tip down below, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into this. Wall Street has the reports right here, and they're giving you the numbers, not Microsoft. Wall Street reports Xbox Game Pass has 30 million subscribers, far below projected 77 million in 2026, which Microsoft was saying that it was going to hit. Man, let me tell you something. That's 47 million behind the projected. Imagine somebody telling you that and they don't even come close to that. You ain't even half of that. That's how much of a failure Game Pass is. Because to Microsoft, if it would have been successful, look at the growth of Netflix. Go and take a look at the growth of Netflix. I kept on growing over time. If it would have been so much successful to Microsoft, they would be at 77 million subscribers right now. That's when you would think about raising the price. But these morons raised the price to $29.99, and when they did, they were at 34 million. We're going to get to this in a second. And it went underneath 30 million. They lost over 4 to 5 million, 5 million plus Game Pass subscribers in the past year. What was the point of all that monopoly and all that gloating in Game Pass day one if you're still at 30 million subscribers or around? They may be at like high 29 million. Yeah, let's get into this. It's about to get interesting. According to a Wall Street Journal report citing documents from Activision Blizzard King legal proceedings. I have to get this from a document because Microsoft was not going to come out and tell you in the fiscal results because they hide from you. But now we have the number here. See, the truth has a way of leaking out. Xbox Game Pass currently has around, they didn't say over, around 30 million subscribers. That sounds like an estimate from like 29 million or something. This figure falls significantly short of Microsoft's internal projection of 77 million subscribers for this year. Xbox CEO acknowledged that Game Pass did not grow at the expected pace. Phil Spencer knew this. Matt Booty knew this. Satya knew this. But Sarah Bond knew this. But what were you being told? You were again being shown this revenue and what it was making in revenue. But they were not subtracting first-party costs, third-party payment costs, right? And they never gave you profit. Tell me where you saw Game Pass profiting. Where Microsoft said, look, this is how much profit we made. Phil Spencer lied because he says, yes, it's profitable. He was lying. I have to say it. You know what I mean? I like Phil Spencer, but he lied. How is Game Pass profitable? When they admitted 20 billion without Activision, it was a sinkhole the entire time. Remember, Netflix wasn't profitable at first, but Netflix content was so good because they could give you so much first-party content monthly. I mean, it was uncomparable that they start growing at a rate that was insane. Then they start getting over 100 million, 120 million, 140 million, 160 million subs, all the way up to 200 million. It's like, man, when you start getting that, man, then you're eating. Then they were raising the price, more and more, because when you still think about what you would try to get for that in DVDs and Blu-rays or going to movies, you're spending significantly more money, and it's not even close. They got their models to work for them, and they were beating everybody in the entire industry. They were number one. Microsoft and Xbox was never number one. They never beat Nintendo and Sony worldwide. You see what I mean? Like, where it's like you got the whole gaming industry underneath your belt, and that I'm gonna raise up, the price of Game Pass all the way from the original price multiple times up, and then did a $10 price increase. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, Game Pass is dominating the whole industry, and it has like 70, 80 million subs. I can understand if it was that good, but you don't have it going that good for you. And this is the video game industry, not the movie, TV show, cartoon industry, and even anime, because that's on Netflix as well. You don't have enough exclusive content to do that. And you don't make deals for people where everybody wants to work with you and everybody's seeing you get number one. Like, you ain't no Netflix, right? But they try to act like they were. At one point, they were jacking it up to 30, and it was more expensive than Netflix. I was like, who are you? How are you going to be more expensive than Netflix when it's dominating the whole entire planet in the digital realm? And on top of that, you were promoting a platform to not support physical, to get on a renting service, and to put developers and publishers in sinkholes, and to pay for your base, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but then in the long term, you were just killing and destroying your market and actually killing Xbox. So now you realize all the lies. I told you not to listen to some of these Xbox fanboys and these Xbots. They're not that bright. You see what I mean? They went for all that and parroted. AG was even telling you all the way last year and the year before that it's not profitable. At Game Pass, they're lying to you. And people try to attack me for that. How do they look now? When the truth comes out again, you are behind 47 million from your projected. Microsoft said they would have 77 million subscribers this year by the end. If you go down and take a look at stuff, you're going to get a lot of intel here. If Wall Street Journal's reporting is correct, that's down from 34 million a couple years ago. Game Pass never grew. It was stagnant the whole time. So let's go down here to read some comments here. Oh boy. Hasn't it been 30 million for like 4 years? It's not growing. No matter what Microsoft put on Game Pass, it tells you about the mentality of gamers. This is not what they want. This is only in the Xbox world. Sony never put no day and date games on their service. Their first part, never. This tells you about wasn't the way to grow the gaming industry. And that in the past couple years, it has not grown. It's been stagnant this entire time. So it's been a dark sinkhole. It failed. It was a wonderful idea for getting benefits, but their ways of going about it, they just literally destroyed the Xbox market. They destroyed first-party publishers and developers. And they brainwashed the gamers to believe that this was good for gaming and that they can make a profit. We can help out publishers and developers the whole time. Now you understand, all those developers and publishers got worse. Like Jake Davis says, hasn't it been at 30 million for like 4 years? It's not growing. 30 million subscribers is great, but Xbox will still use this headline as an excuse to raise the subscription price next week. See, this is a guy that has a low IQ. When you were just told what you were actually supposed to have for this business to be where it's supposed to be, you have somebody like this saying 30 million subscribers is great. No, it's not. It's as absolute failure. Satya just told you how much profit they didn't make and how much in the sinkhole they were. Asha said it too. And then you got a post right here at the top telling you that they were supposed to have 77 million. And you're telling me that's great. See what I mean? Brain rot. Yikes, swear it's been at 30 million since 2024. Intelligent Post. This was supposed to be 100 million subs 3 years ago. This is what you were being told. This is what people believed in. They tried to put this on everybody else's consoles too. They would have killed their markets too if you would have let them. You see how dangerous this company is? If you let them, they'll destroy everything. So we got a number 77 million they projected. That's a yikes. During the Activision Blizzard trial, it was revealed that they planned on having 77 million subscribers by this time. You see? They were also at 34 million in 2024. So 2 years later, it's underneath that. And then with their $29.99 price increase, they lost millions of subs. And now it's down to probably 29 million. PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, Sony has more than that. Nintendo Switch Online has more than that. And they didn't have to put it on PC or mobile. And it's profitable. And they didn't spend 70 billion on Activision, 20 billion here and there, monopolize all that and to put that and dump it on the service day one. You see the difference between the companies and the choices? This is what I try to tell you. Their hardware is fine too. But the Xbox hardware has to be more expensive than everything else. Just like Game Pass is more expensive than Netflix. And they have all that money. Like, who are you? You're not winning in anything. How are you more expensive than everybody else? How's that going to help you grow? But yeah, it was said in that trial, and they try to project things, we're going to be at probably about 77 million subscribers in 2026. That's what they said. 30 million don't care about recurring subscription fees. Xbox has 30 million Game Pass subscribers and is still laying off 3,200 employees. Great numbers, terrible reality. The problem is with these people is that they don't realize that in order to get those 30 million subscribers, they had to put the console, kill the physical market, put you on a renting service, kill first-party developers, kill publishing, and go in a sinkhole because those games were costing them 200 million to probably make. And they were dumping them on their day one and not getting back that money, which is why they had to branch out and go third party. And Asha still tells you that wasn't enough because nobody was supporting our products. You act like Game Pass was profitable. It was making them billions of dollars. It wasn't. They were losing billions of dollars over time. Hundreds of millions of dollars were being lost yearly. They weren't getting it back. So if a game cost you $250 million, 200 million, you put it day one on Game Pass, and it doesn't sell on PlayStation or Steam like it should have, and you're 120 million in the sinkhole, and you did that 4 times in the first half of the year, you're 500 million in the hole. Plus you have to market that game. And nobody buys it on Xbox because they're not supporting it. And physical copies are dead in the Xbox world. And this consistently keeps going on. So Microsoft is subsidizing this whole time. And then they go on to Monopoly, they put Call of Duty on there, and they lost 300 million. I just told you, just off of just 1 year, that's 800 million right there with the 500. Not considering all the cost of the other first-party games they were putting on there last year. They didn't sell and they didn't get that money back. So that's hundreds of millions more. Now we're in a billion plus range. Possibly in 1 year they lost. Do that for 2 years. You see what I'm saying? How are you paying people then? You had to initially give them a paycheck too to put that on Game Pass. Plus what it costs to make the game. That's why they tried to jack it up to 30 and demanded a 30% profit margin. It surprised me that Xbox fanboys couldn't figure this out because AGN just gave you the answer. The same thing I said last year and earlier this year, that if Gears of War costs 400 million and your dumbasses are putting it on Game Pass day one and Steam only buys 2 million copies, then you literally only made 140 million. How much money did they lose then? You see what I'm saying? And it's 500 million with the PlayStation port and marketing. What if Gears only sells 2 million on PC? And I say, if you got lucky, it sold 1 million on Xbox. That's 210 million. There's still 380 million in the sinkhole. How does Coalition make a profit? Let's say if you even had early access buying. Okay, let me give you extra 20, 30 million. There's still like 350 million in the sinkhole, 360 million. In order for you to break even, you would have to sell 7 million copies of Gears if it has a 500 million budget with marketing and the PlayStation port and the 400 million with Xbox. 7 times 7 is 49. See, 70. So that's 490 million. You still 10 million from breaking even. See this game? It doesn't work mathematically. That's why I said this was going on the whole time. Why you think they can't leave PlayStation? Why you think they had to put Call of Duty on the Switch too? Why you think they made a 10-year contract with Nintendo? Why you think Call of Duty can't be exclusive to Xbox? Do you know how much money Microsoft would be losing trying to put Call of Duty day one on Game Pass? Which is why they took it off. Even with it going third party, they took it off. Because that's how much money they lose. You know how much money it costs to make Call of Duty games that fast? Like 400 or 500 million. It's bad. So Call of Duty has to sell like 10 million copies. It has to. And then you're making 700 million from the 400 or 500 million budget. Then you're making a couple hundred million. But they're making multiple ones all the time. You're starting to see the reality that was always here, but Microsoft could do that because they have so much money outside of Xbox. Tell me where Sega could have done that after failing with the Dreamcast. It doesn't exist to grab. This has nothing to do with gaming. You were grabbing something non-gaming related to make yourself seem like you were competing, when really you were robbing that other part of your company. You robbed the planet all the time anyways, but still you were robbing that other part of the company to literally sugarcoat it and just hit the buy to play button. That's how bad they were failing. That's why I said that you can say whatever you want about PlayStation, but Sony is not in debt. It's the most profitable generation of all time. Xbox is in the worst debt and is having the biggest layoff in history. And has destroyed the console more than ever, has been full third party this whole generation and told you not to go buy it. and could never be successful and give you a solid foundation to continue on where you feel like finally they're making progress consecutively. That's why I say that this is the worst that has ever been seen in gaming history. This embarrasses Sega by thousands of miles. When Sega failed, what they did is they just shut down their hardware, but they found a way to come back to get billions of dollars through publishing and developing. Third party. Microsoft has publishing and development in third party. They spent $70 billion on Activision after they were in a Sega position, and then they spent another $20 billion plus another $10 billion on Bethesda because it costs money to get them. They spent over $100+ billion and still are in this sinkhole. How the hell could Sega have an extra $100 billion to grab and still fail after that? Do you think Sega would have been? You crazy. Man, they would have been making so many games left and right and had so many more console generations, they would have been fine. Microsoft is a perfect example of the biggest failure in gaming history, and it's not even close. I don't care what you try to tell me about Sony doing their physical or whatever. Man, get out of here with all that nonsense. PlayStation is not failing. Xbox is the biggest failure in electronic and gaming history, damn near. Nobody fails and gets ready to get shut down, and it gets funding $100 billion and is in a deeper sinkhole after that. It's bad. It's like this bad juju. It's like this curse. It's like you should never team up with that company. It's that bad. And that's what I'm trying to get people to see here, that nobody could compare. You could try all you want. Social media can do all that all at once, but at the end of the day, the majority of the gaming community says we're 85% plus digital anyways. And mobile's 100%, and PC's 100%. And PlayStation is about to go 100% like PC. Hopefully it doesn't. But it still preserves stuff before 2028, so that will always be there forever, as long as that's up. And Nintendo will preserve it. But outside of that, where? Xbox preserving physical? Pfft, please. Who buys games on Xbox? Your whole thing was Game Pass and cloud and digital and seamless across all these devices. And smart delivery, and ROG Ally, and PC, and mobile, and cloud, and Game Pass, all renting and digital. Code in the box. They've been doing it. DRM lockdown in 2013. It's like this, what this company has been doing, Sony is about to do to the rest of the physical that's left over when the market is like 80-something% digital. Not when it was like 80-something% physical. That's the difference between PlayStation and Xbox. And Sony can still reverse course, and they still have to 2028. But Microsoft has been damaging since 2013 consecutively for 13 years in a row. And lying and failing. Big difference here. That's why I say that I'm not going to be brainwashed by this nonsense. This PlayStation is not going to die. Xbox is done. Everybody knows this. The Helix is for what? What are you're going to be in a Steam machine situation. And it's going to be like $2,000. $1,500. It's going to be too expensive. Look at this market. You're not subsidized. He told you, I'm not subsidizing for you anymore. So what makes you think that you're getting a deal on the Xbox Helix? What is the point? Are we seeing the picture here? It's not hard to see. I can tell you the reality of PlayStation. People are sheeps and hordes, just like in politics. This is going to pass over, and more people go digital than ever. Sony's digital percentage grows, and PlayStation is still fine. And that people that are left over in the physical medium, you just get sacrificed. But whatever Sony gains in that physical percentage conversion, they're making more money than what you were when you were around in the physical medium. And who made it physical 85%? You did. Sony's not stupid. They're just manipulative and sometimes wicked and sleazy. But Microsoft is dumb. They do the dumbest stuff. It's like, what? And Nintendo is far from being done. They're more intelligent than both of them put together when it comes to gaming. So my thing here is that all you Xbox fanboys that thought Game Pass was profitable and you're attacking people over, and you've done this nonstop for years, grifting. What do you have to say? That now the truth has been coming out and we got the numbers right here. And I love Game Pass, but you destroyed so much of gaming doing that, and developers and publishers. You should have left them alone. That's my take on it. They expect to have 45 million by the first 2 years. Missed every growth target since it launched. Been telling people for years, but they kept telling me I was wrong because it makes $5 billion a year. People seem to think it ran for free. 5 billion? No, there was just a revenue number. But if you put profit, it would have never shown. That's why they never put it there. It was actually a sinkhole. You could tell somebody, oh, because I have this many subs, this is what's doing. But I said, but give me the true number by taking away everything and show me the real picture. That's called deception. It wasn't real. Now you know. Become a member, leave a tip down below, like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. As usual, as I was saying, of course, what Sony announced when it comes to physical disc operations ending is probably one of the biggest drama breakouts in gaming history. Bigger than anything Microsoft probably announced, but the total damage Microsoft is actually doing and has done is far worse. The difference here is that the reason why a PlayStation physical disc is dead, and the reason why physical disc drama is breaking out so bad, and it's very simple. Because Sony is the biggest third-party publishing platform in gaming history. Nobody gets more third-party support than Sony. And historically, they're the ones that ran the phenomenons, as I said before, with physical disc, CDs in the 90s, DVDs with PlayStation 2, $199, PlayStation 3, Blu-rays. Sony always had CD disc phenomenons, and they always had a major base when it comes to physical manifestation, physical manufacturing, disc manufacturing. And they have a huge third-party support base. When you think about how big PlayStation is, 100+ million every single time. Right? 100+ million console sales besides PS3, but even then, it was still 87 million or 88 million or whatever. So when you think about that historically, most people, when they think of PlayStation, the physical is a soulful integrated part of it. So that's going to be huge, yeah, because PlayStation is that much bigger than Xbox. Xbox ain't that big. But whatever's left over, Microsoft is just, it's embarrassing. That then they invaded in the PC world and into the mobile world. But it ain't just because of the Xbox hardware damage, it's because of how much they monopolized and how much they've hurt in that process. That's the problem. Let me know what you guys think. Later.